in your heart. Change flowing through your world every single day. Change, yeah, yeah, yeah. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss now. And we won't get fooled again. No way, we won't get fooled again. No way. Meet the new boss, like the old boss, yeah. We won't get fooled again. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Woo! Great. Wow, 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 wow.
Thank you, people.
John Waite.
An audience here.
You got your audience, you got your fans around the world, those
Yeah.
you can see and those you can't see. And people have been buying your records.
New York, man. Yeah.
Supporting your music. And what an honor it is to have you in our
Well,
studios.
I really enjoyed it.
So tell me, John, your album name again, the new
It's
album?
called Wooden Heart Volume 2, Acoustic Anthology. There's a Volume 1 that's only 4 tracks. That's an EP. This one's got, I think, 12 or 14 songs. I forget. But it's really, I mean, honestly, I think it's some of the best things I've done, certainly as a singer. And being able to choose some of those songs and bring them back, like Missing You. Isn't It Time by the Babies, you know, but just unplugged.
Right.
In God's Shadow, that I wrote with Keith Reed from Procol Harum. Just some beautiful, I mean, I like them. But I mean, it's a joy. You know, I mean, you get older, and it's a joy to sort of look back at your career and do the stuff that you love so much, and it still have impact. It means a lot to me.
Well, what a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, John, for doing this.
God bless
you,
you
guys.
No, you know,
Great band.
thank you for having us. We
You know.
really appreciate it.
Can't wait to have you back.
Thank you.
John Waite, our guest, and you're watching Border Crossings. I'm Larry London.
Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is Motor Week. Join us as the Alfa Romeo Stelvio races into the SUV craze with Italian style and performance. Pat Goss has advice on keeping your car's color colorful. Roger Mecca slips behind the wheel of a classic Camaro Z28. And Honda goes sport injected for their latest Civic. So come drive with us next.
Motor Week, television's original automotive magazine.
While the Giulia sedan did a lot to cement Alfa Romeo's place in the Euro luxury sport market here, these days no brand can really compete stateside without an SUV. And indeed, the Stelvio was always a part of Alfa's return strategy for America. So let's take a look at this upstart utility and find out if more familiar European brands should be getting a little nervous. The 2018 Alfa Romeo Stelvio is indeed the right vehicle at the right time, as even with luxury sport brands, utility vehicles continue to take sales away from sedans. So it's not just a good idea for this re-emerging Italian brand, it's really a necessity. And while no one may have seen that coming 20 years ago, it almost makes sense at this point, as car makers have been able to infuse utilities with the same amount of performance, comfort, style, and even efficiency as their four-door siblings, while giving buyers more flexibility for carrying cargo. Behind the wheel of this Italian two-row ute, things are very quiet and luxurious. It's very stable, and like most of its competitors, drives more like a tall hatchback than a crossover-style utility. Seats are more than comfortable, but if you don't mind a sportier ride, upgrading to the TI Sport will get you some phenomenal sport seats. For now, all Stelvios come with a smooth-running 2-liter turbo i4 engine. It offers best-in-class standard horsepower at 280, accompanied by 306 pound-feet of torque. At full song, it sounds more like an exotic 6 or even 8. In opposite fashion from the Giulia sedan that the Stelvio is based on, we'll have to wait a little while longer for the high-performance Quadrifoglio version to arrive. Huge column-mounted paddle shifters are available to control the 8-speed automatic transmission with great precision. And if you ask for manual control, that's what you get. All Stelvios are all-wheel drive. Now, it doesn't feel leaps and bounds more spirited than the competition, at least without having the opportunity to drive them back-to-back. But it sure does feel hellaciously fast and super capable. 0 to 60 is 5.4 seconds, and only a few ticks behind the Giulia 2.0. Like Giulia, there's a DNA drive mode selector. Leave it in dynamic for the best results, and you won't find the ride harsh at all. Steering is quick, it feels planted, and just right, with loads of grip for cornering. With Alfa's Q4 all-wheel drive system, the front wheels only are fed power when necessary. Otherwise, it operates as a rear-wheel drive Sportster. Now, Stelvio performs just fine in all other drive modes as well. It just kind of gives you the impression that's not where it wants to be. At 111 inches, wheelbase is exactly the same as the Giulia, but with a little more material outbound. Overall length comes in about 2 inches longer. For the most part, it shares the same aggressive face, but lines are a little more pronounced, especially down the sides. There are 9 different tire and wheel packages, ranging from standard 18s to 20s. Even the back end treatment is gorgeous. We almost wish Alfa would have just called it a Giulia wagon, even though we all know to most Americans that would kill it. Base Stelvios come fairly well equipped, but most buyers will either travel down the Lusso or Sport Road for upgrades that match their priorities. Wood and nicer leather for the luxury-minded, aluminum trim for the sport-minded. Like the Giulia, there are only minor traces of any Fiat Chrysler lineage. Materials and fit and finish are on par with European alternatives. It's a very inviting space with only a fussy electronic shifter to detract from the serenity. Rear seat room is not plentiful, but certainly doable for 2 adults. Capacity in the cargo hold at 18.5 cubic feet is decent but short of most rivals. Folding the rear seat back will expand the space to 56.5 cubic feet. Also like the Giulia sedan, the Stelvio is technically mid-size but lies more in the middle ground between compact and middleweight SUVs. Government fuel economy ratings are 22 city, 28 highway, and 24 combined, for a reasonable energy impact score of 13.7 barrels of yearly oil use with 6 tons of CO2 emissions. Stelvio-based pricing is a very reasonable $42,990, though options are many and costly. We figure most Stelvios will go for low to mid-50s. According to the folks at Alfa, there was no point in adding yet another utility vehicle into a congested pool full of very nice import and domestic branded luxury crossovers, unless it was the most powerful, highest performing vehicle in its class. The 2018 Alfa Romeo Stelvio is just that. It's a fabulous effort. So Alfa's biggest challenge will be getting butts in seats to try it out. Once they do, Stelvio will sell itself. The Mustang Camaro grudge match began on September 29, 1966, the day the Camaro went on sale as Chevrolet's answer to Ford's 2-year-old pony car sensation. And from the start, Camaro's performance standout was the virtually race-ready Z28 package. Well, our Roger Mecca is always looking for classic standouts, and when he had a chance to drive a first-gen Z28, he quickly buckled up for a joyride.
Chevy made a lot of different variants of the Camaro over the first few years, but this is the one that everybody lusts after, the 1969 Z28.
Dude, this particular car is my absolute favorite GM car of all time.
Chip Miller is the owner of Eurostar Auto Gallery outside of Baltimore, specializing in rare and exotic automobiles. But he's also a massive fan of the 69 Z28 and has been since he was a teenager.
I think this car will stand the test of time because it has been so heralded over the years as being just a very versatile racer, a versatile street car with the look and the feel of American muscle. It's just got it all going on.
The Z28's main rival was the Mustang Boss 302, but in terms of sales, there was no competition. The 69 Z28 outsold the Boss by a 12-to-1 margin. Even in terms of total Camaro numbers, Chevy had closed the gap on Ford, selling only 50,000 fewer units in 1969. In just 3 short years, the Camaro had officially become a serious adversary for the mighty Mustang.
I love a good underdog story, and in a lot of ways, that's what the Camaro was. At the time, the Mustang was the icon that everybody was chasing after, and this was just an upstart. But in a lot of ways, it was also a better car.
The $458 Z28 package gave owners quicker steering, better suspension, and for the first time ever, the option of 4-wheel disc brakes. And though precision steering and classic Detroit muscle don't always go hand in hand, the Z28 gave me plenty of confidence to punch the accelerator no matter how twisty the roads got. And by design, the Z28 was built to put down fast laps on a track with a focus on handling. But for some consumers, that was actually a bad thing.
Now, gearheads might have wanted a straight-line speedster, but that's not what the Z28 was. It got to 60 miles an hour in about 8 seconds, and it was built for the racetrack, not drag racing.
And on the racetrack, it was dominant, winning the Trans Am Racing Series title in both 68 and 69. Racing conditions demanded that the 302 V8 be tuned to deliver top-end power, where the driver would spend most of their time. But that also means less speed off the line. But that all changes once the RPMs start to climb.
Get up around 3,000 or 4,000 RPM, and this thing turns into a rocket ship. And the way this engine sounds, 30 might as well feel like 100.
So what's not to love? Well, there's no AC, and driving on a hot summer's day will go from uncomfortable to miserable in a hurry. And the lack of power steering and a heavy clutch mean road trips or heavy traffic of any kind will become a labor-intensive endeavor. And while you will definitely fall in love with the engine's mighty roar, your neighbors definitely won't. But trust me when I say this, it's all worth it.
Now, I've had the privilege to drive a lot of incredible cars over the years, but very few of them are ones I've actually wanted to take home. But this one is.
It takes a lot of work to keep a car looking like new, something our Pat Goss always takes a shine to.
No matter whether you have a new car or an old car, if it has nice paint, you want to keep it looking nice. And there are some ways to do that. And we have with us Eric from Expel Technologies to give us some pointers. Eric, welcome to Goss's Garage.
Thank you very much for having me, Pat.
All right. You've treated this car. Tell us about it.
So what we've done is we put our paint protection film on this vehicle. So what it is an aliphatic urethane with an automotive clear coat with an adhesive layer on the back of it, applied just like window tint. We use a slip solution to get it the way you want, and then squeegee it down onto the painted surface just like you would on tint. And we've got a 30-inch kit that's protecting the leading edge of the front, with the hood and matching fender line, the bumper, and the mirror backs were typically the main impact areas of the vehicle. So the technology, what really makes this nice, is our self-healing film. So what do I mean by self-healing? It's got elastomer polymers. If you get scratches in the film, 20 minutes out in the sun, it'll come out on its own.
You have a rather ugly-looking brush in your hand. What are you going to do with that?
Well, yeah, this is a brass wire brush, and what I'm going to do is demonstrate the self-healing capabilities of the film. We're going to take this brush and go right into the film and put some nice swirl marks into the film, and then we're going to pour hot water on it and watch it come right out instantaneously for you.
Interesting.
That kind of scenario was to happen, it would heal out on its own. Your paint won't come back, but the film will.
All right. Now, one of the things that we see from time to time is graffiti. What can you do with that?
Well, unfortunately, it does happen every now and then, depending on where you're at. The film can easily handle that with the right solvent or solution to take it off.
All right. Now, I guess the bottom line to all of this is that you're going to have a better looking car for a longer period of time, and when it comes time for trade-in, you're going to get more money for it.
That's correct. So it's two different things. It's about the car that you love, and you want to protect that no matter what. And then second thing is, if you're, let's say, leasing a car on a 2 or 3 year term, once you turn that car in, you say, hey, dealership, here's a set of keys. I'm going to take a set of keys back. 45 days later, the leasing company might just hit you with a bill for the condition of how the car was up on the front. So it's better to finance the paint away, and then when you trade in the keys, you don't have to worry about it.
Got it. Eric, thank you. And if you have a question or a comment, drop me a line right here at Motor Week.
A brand new car, a full tank of gas, and a key fob. That's all we need for a quick spin. When SRT engineers created Hellcat engines for the Dodge Charger and Challenger, some wondered if that performance would ever be paired with Jeep's ruggedness. Well, it has in the 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Here, the Hellcat supercharged 6.2-liter V8 rates 707 horsepower and 645 pound-feet of torque. That big engine needs a lot of air, so fog lights are swapped for cold air ducts. An upgraded 8-speed automatic transmission triggers lightning-fast shifts. In sport mode, they're even quicker and the steering firmer. For us, that was the sweet spot while driving on the highway and these back roads in Maine and New Hampshire.
There's also a quad exhaust system out back. There's a bit of refinement to it. It's not as brutal and aggressive as the Charger and the Challenger, but still really nice. And you get a lot of that sound there, laying into the throttle. I mean, it's everything you want, maybe just a little bit more refined than those other cars.
This lowered SUV was also right at home at Club Motorsports in Tamworth, New Hampshire, maintaining great composure and stability. The Brembo brake system with 15 3/4-inch front rotors kept the hard braking zones largely uneventful. But the Trackhawk is still best suited for straight line runs. With the easy-to-use launch control system and all 4 wheels putting power down, we zoomed to 60 in 3.5 seconds on the very first run. The 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk well handled the drive to the track, our time on the track, and the drive back home, while still maintaining much of its all-weather and off-pavement capabilities. Look for it by the end of the year, starting at around $86,000. The 2017 Mini John Cooper Works Clubman brings more of what we like to the premium hatchback segment. It bears the name of legendary British race car builder John Cooper, who began the brand's long history of rally car racing. This is the first Mini to combine the latest version of the performance enhancements with the new all-4 all-wheel drive system. The 2-liter Turbo 4 pumps out 228 horsepower. It's the most powerful engine yet for a production Mini. When we slipped into the driver's seat, this compact all-wheel driver jumped off the line with good low-end torque and plenty of grip. The 8-speed Sport automatic shifts quickly like it can't stand to be still. The engine and exhaust sound like a swarm of angry hornets and reverberate all around the cabin, and they're noises we enjoy hearing. At low speeds, response is quick and it can be darty. Steering is, however, razor sharp and heavy with some actual feel. The almost perfectly balanced body produces zero roll. When it comes time to stop, the Brembo brake system hunkers down and halts in a hurry. It's no secret we're big fans of Mini, but combining the versatility of the 5-door Clubman and all-wheel drive with the top performance level of the brand made us ever more so. It's on sale now, starting just under $36,000. We've spent a lot of time behind the wheel of the latest Kia Optima sedan. It just left our fleet after a year's service. But this 2017 Kia Optima Hybrid makes this midsize 4-doors Euro spec style and driving response that much more appealing. A new 154 horsepower 2-liter 4 is matched with a new 38 kilowatt electric motor for a combined output of 193 horsepower.